everyone, so welcome now to video number 2. I'm going to be talking to you a bit about a bad experience I had recently involving one of my phobias. Now I have a dog phobia. I could talk about this to you in more detail in a future video. It'll take me some time to prepare a longer video, but I know that one of you in particular would like me to talk about this in greater detail, so I will do that at some point. Might not be for a little while though, but I do intend on doing that at some point. So I have a dog phobia. I had a dog when I was a child, actually, a lovely dog, Jessie, a cross between, she was a Welsh Spaniel, a cross between a Welsh Collie, an incredibly soppy thing. That was my childhood dog that I grew up with, and I adored her. So I'm not against dogs. I had a dog as a child, but that didn't stop me, of course, being scared of other dogs. And I think it's a case of the unknown, the unpredictability around it. Familiar dogs that I'm used to, that I've built a rapport with, that I can trust, that I know are friendly. I can absolutely love the dog and grow to, to form a really strong bond with that dog. I guess it's a bit like with people, someone that I know and like, I can like them, but many people I'm scared of. I mean, it's not quite to the same intensity, obviously, because but it's along a similar thing. It's a lot of it's down to unpredictability, and dogs can be unpredictable. So I do have a dog phobia, despite the fact that I grew up with a dog of my own. But as I say, it doesn't mean I don't like dogs, and it doesn't mean I don't respect people's right to have dogs and all of those things. I don't dislike dogs. It's just that I have a phobia. It's completely beyond my control, and it's largely, I think, it's a lot connected to my autism and the fear of unpredictability. But as I say, I'll talk about that, but more context, if you like, behind my phobia in a video. But last Saturday I was out of the house all day, and I travelled to a nearby town for an appointment. So I left the house early because I was intending to spend some time there before the appointment, and I was already feeling stressed as I'd been on my feet for a long time and I was in need of refreshments. So I decided to visit a Waterstones cafe. Now Waterstones, it being Saturday, was very busy, which did not help matters. But, I was glad to get a table where I could have my tea and crisps, because I was feeling quite, fatigued at that point, and I really did need to sit down and something to eat. Just as I sat down, I heard a dog bark. I was completely not expecting that, because it's in this quiet, well, I say quiet, it was quite busy, but, it was a bookstore, a sort of relaxed setting, and I did not expect to hear a dog bark inside. So I looked around and saw someone walking towards the cafe with a white terrier type dog on a lead. I quickly moved tables, and as I sat, I dithered over whether I should ask the waitress whether or not dogs were allowed. I assumed they were not, because in the past, most places, apart from some pubs, do not allow dogs. Certainly when I had a dog growing up, there were many places she wasn't allowed. We often had to tie her outside. Certainly my mum wouldn't have dreamed of taking her to a bookshop. Actually, my mum was against dogs in bookshops anyway, regardless of whether or not they're allowed. And Jessie was trained really, really well, and we would tie her up outside places, if certain places, So I just assumed that was still the case. So I assumed they weren't allowed, so I summoned up the courage and asked a waitress. She said that dogs are allowed, and the owner of the dog said they had a right to bring their dog inside, that it's friendly, the usual excuse, just a dog, and I could come and stroke her if I liked. Yes, I've got a phobia. Would you tell someone who's got a spider phobia, it's okay, it's just a spider, come and stroke it? Yeah, clearly not thinking at all. That didn't help matters, because I was already feeling stressed, and then to have the owner of the dog be so dismissive like that, kind of just added to my stress and infuriated me. So I then basically shouted out, I said, I have a phobia! I was getting really quite irate at this point and stressed. More stressed than I was to begin with because of her dismissive attitude. It wasn't like, oh, I'm so sorry you have a phobia, I understand. It wasn't any of that. It was completely on the defensive, which really didn't help matters. So I felt very upset and angry. So I then demanded to speak to the manager. The manager let me vent to her. I have to say that the manager was a good manager in a sense that, she did let me vent to her. She didn't get angry or anything like that. So she did have good customer relation skills. So I'll give her a thumbs up for that at least. Because I needed to get it out. I apologised afterwards, of course, for losing my temper. I mean, it wasn't the manager's fault. It's obviously hiring commands who have this new policy. So, she said, most places allow dogs these days, such as pubs, and Waterstones is only following suit. you know, I told her that I would complain online. I still need to do that actually, because it takes a lot to, you know, with everything else I've got to do. And I do intend to complain, but I need to be sure I'm in the right mental space to do that, and I'm going to do that with my support worker online. And I think I also want to go into the Waterstones in my town as well to find out their policy and to also express my concerns. I do think that just because some pubs allow dogs does not mean they should be allowed everywhere. You know, there should be clear boundaries in place. You know, that's not a logical argument to say, oh, they're allowed there, so therefore they should be allowed here. You know, I certainly think there should be dog-friendly places, but they do need to have clear signage outside. And there wasn't any clear signage. There was nothing to say that dogs were allowed. This was a dog-friendly place. I also told the manager that I felt a sign should be placed. I think she did listen to me there, because she said that maybe they would consider putting a sign up. You know, just making it clear that dogs are allowed, because I wasn't expecting it. There's also that as well. They're not expecting it, which was stressful. And I completely lost control at this point. My cheeks were feeling super hot and flushed. I was shaking with anger. I even chucked my bag of crisps as well. So I lost a few crisps. But yeah, I was shaking. I was angry. It really was quite embarrassing, because the problem is that when I lose control, I can't stop. It's like I enter full-blown rage. And like, I think actually some of that initial anxiety was actually transformed into anger, which came out then as anger or something. But yeah, it was embarrassing. It totally spoiled my enjoyment of my tea and crisps. So I went to the toilet, so I had to cry, because it all came out in the toilet, so I was just crying, I was feeling awful. You know, and as I said, I'm not against people's rights to have dogs, because I had a dog myself growing up, you know, so, and I think dogs can be good pets, you know, I'm not against dogs, and I'm not against people's rights to have dogs. It's just I think there should be, I think it is wrong that dogs should be allowed in, say, bookshop chains like Waterstones, places that, you know, are meant to be quiet and a safe place for people with phobias to go. I do not want things to move to a situation where people with dog phobias have nowhere safe to go in public. Also, this does not just affect people with phobias, I have to say. Dogs molt, and some people are allergic to dog hair, so there's that aspect as well. Be like, say, if you're allowed to take your cats everywhere, some people are allergic to cat hair. So we're allowing dogs everywhere, does that mean we're allowed other pets everywhere? Where does it end? And dogs can be unpredictable and bark, you know, outside in a big open space. You know, that's less problematic, but two dogs that decide to go for each other in a confined place, that would not be pretty. Bookshops have narrow corridors, and there are clear health and safety concerns when having dogs in such a closed public place. So there are all these issues against it, and I think that's why for a long time they weren't allowed, and now things are being changed. And if dogs are allowed in such places, as I've already said, you know, I'll make this point, I'll say it again, why not pet cats, pigs, rabbits and spiders? You know, I am being a little bit facetious here, but the point is worth considering. The rights of people who have phobias or do not like being in close proximity to domestic animals needs to be appreciated. I mean, in the past, a person with a phobia could go into a bookshop without worrying about dogs, but now this has changed. However, if a dog nips someone, it only takes one event. You know, the establishment will no doubt face potentially a large legal fee, particularly in our litigation culture these days. Now, AGK, where I used to volunteer, initially allowed dogs, but then did ban them after someone got nipped. They stroked a dog, and it's in their narrow, and that dog basically kind of went mad, and not pretty in a small confined place. And they have now since been banned because obviously the field litigation, everything's only a small shop, they can't afford legal fees, and it's not a trifling concern. The laissez-faire attitude deeply troubles me, and there do need to be boundaries and animal-free zones, I think. So let me know if any of you have a specific animal phobia. You know, it might not be a dog phobia. You might have many people have phobias. It might be a spider phobia. It might be any other phobia. And do let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll be very interested to hear what you think about this. There is a really annoying noise upstairs, and it's I hate it. Yes. There is a noise upstairs, and I keep on banging, and it's like really, I don't know where it's coming from actually. I think it's coming from the side, but it's really annoying me because it's like, yeah, I can hear it in the kitchen, and it's really stressing me out. In a minute, when I finish this video, I think I'm going to put on some loud music or something to block it out, because that's the only way I can deal with noise. Yeah, it's really stressful. I don't know when I really don't know when they're going to shut the fuck up. Sorry about my swearing. I have to swear when I'm angry, because they started knocking on Monday, and I wasn't expecting it because I need to follow my reading routine. My reading routine is vitally important to me. I have to follow it, and I can't not do my reading routine. And I was not expecting it to be. I'm always stressed because you never know when there might be noise. And then suddenly hear banging like that really stressed me out. I still managed to read a bit, but I had to move into the kitchen, and ultimately I had to put my fingers in my ears like that. I don't know when they're going to be finished, and it's really stressing me out. And I wish I put a note through the letterbox saying that they're doing this because it's really stressful. But anyhow, it makes me stressed. So anyhow, I'm going to end this video now. I'll be uploading it later because I still need to have my lunch. I took lots of exercise today. I've been out walking, went to Sainsbury's for my sport work, and I got some nice new rolls. So got lots of exercise. So yeah, I need to have my lunch and then upload those videos. And thank you for watching.